Co-op has warned that some places could become no-go areas for shops due to soaring levels of retail crime. The company says shoplifting and antisocial behaviour have reached record highs, with staff having logged 1,000 incidents every single day in the past 6 months, while the police failed to respond to 71% of reported crimes. Joining me now, Paul Gerard, who works in campaigns at the Co-op, and Yasmin, who's one of their store managers. Good to see you both. I think I might speak to Yasmin first because she's there and she's watching and she's witnessing what's going on. Yasmin, thank you so much for joining me. Describe one of these incidents and describe how it feels working inside the store when this kind of thing is going on. What's it like?
I'll start off with the good evening, and then I'll start my experience. I've been in business for the last 30 years in retail, and part of retail is that there will be shoplifting, and we do witness that. But in just recent years, it's not about just shoplifting. These are prolific offenders. These are criminal gangs who's raiding the shop, sweeping the shelves off, attacking people, being very abusive, carrying weapons, going behind checkout, which is supposed to be an area which is constrained and staff feel safe, but they're still jumping into the chaos, breaking the doors, getting into that. And it's a daily routine. If it's not my shop, it's another shop. And it keeps happening every single day.
And Yasmin, explain what happens when this occurs. So they come bludgeoning in, some of them brandishing weapons. They might jump over into the checkout area behind the desk. They're ransacking the shelves. They're scooping up the staff. Everyone's terrified. What next? What do? You call the police, or your own security guards get busy? What happens?
Obviously, whoever, whether it's myself or anywhere you go, the team, they fear for their life. They're so nervous, they're scared. They don't know what to do. I mean, sometimes some of those colleagues, they jump off the tail. One of my colleagues, she collapsed, she fainted out. She was passed out for 24 hours. She was in hospital. So these are the things we have to. And then immediately, what do? Naturally, you're going to call the police, dial 999. The police response is, why don't you call 101? Because we are co-op or we are retail or shop workers. So the priority is not important. By the time you call, the police don't attend. The offender's been and gone, and we are traumatized. Sometimes we need to shut the shop because it's not a pleasant place to be for us, for our customers as well, and the community.
And what about your own security staff, those people who are paid to try to stop this sort of thing? What do they do when you get an influx of gang members?
One person as a security, what can we do? We have provided us. We've got headset, we've got body cameras, we've got ICCTV, we've got the guards as well. But then what can we do? We are very clear, and I'm very much against that. We shouldn't be chasing after these shoplifters. This is a good instruction from Co-op as well, that we shouldn't be running after chase, because we are not police, we are not guard. That's not our job. We shouldn't risk our life running after them. What if we get hurt? They have weapons on them, and they threaten us when they come. Just be careful. So the guard do try, but then guard by himself, what can we do? Mm-hmm. Our immediate reaction is, let's call the police. They're the one who's going to save us. But we don't get a good response or support. This is what we are lacking, and this is what is very sad, that we as shop workers, we have to go through this. Why? We wake up 4 o'clock in the morning to go to work, open the shop 6 o'clock, so we can serve our community, we can serve our customers. And this is how we get treated, that there's no priority for our life. Anything happens, we didn't have enough officers, so we couldn't be on time. We had other things. So whenever we call, we will not call for shoplifting, small things. We will call only when there are serious incidents happening, when we have armed robberies, when somebody had been attacked or chaos breach has happened, and we do not get very good response.
All right. So, Yasmin, it must be terrifying. It must be absolutely terrifying. It must also be very frustrating, very worrying. You've got people fainting. You've got people nervous about going to work. You've got people who are just shopping, trying to have a normal daily experience to run in and out and get what they need. This is not a circumstance under which anybody should have to go to work. And I think terrible. Yeah. You've described it very vividly. And we get the picture. We've also got pictures running of this happening, so we can see what you're talking talking about. Paul, I'm going to come to you in a minute, but what I want to do before that is read you both, Yasmin and Paul, and everybody listening and watching, the police statement on this. So this is from the National Police Chiefs Council lead for acquisitive crime, Chief Constable Amanda Blakeman, who says this: retail crime has a damaging impact on people and business, which is why we're doing everything possible to tackle offenders and support retailers in reducing shoplifting and attacks on retail staff. Police forces take any incident of violence incredibly seriously and will prioritise our response where there is a risk to individuals. Each force will have their own response model, which considers the threat, risk and harm of every call, and this is why it's so important to provide as much information as possible when reporting to us. In some cases, there may not be enough information for police to act upon or bring about criminal proceedings. For these types of offences, police focus on targeting prolific offenders, organised crime networks and ensuring effective prevention measures are in place. We work closely with retailers, industry groups and government as part of the National Retail Crime Steering Group. Through this group, we provide support and guidance to retail workers to ensure their safety and reduce opportunities for thefts. We will continue to work closely with them, listen to their concerns and act appropriately. Paul Gerard, over to you. You are the Campaigns and Public Affairs Manager at the Co-op. That doesn't sound like the service that the police are providing that Yasmin's been describing, does it?
Thanks for the Vanessa. I think what's interesting is that the police's own data say that even though co-op colleagues only report the most serious incidents, the police only turn up in 29% of cases. They don't turn up in 71% of cases. Now, if you're not turning up in 71% of cases, you've got no idea what's happened. And further than that, Yasmin mentioned our guarding. We have undercover covert guarding at times. We've detained offenders in our store, called the police to come, and they don't come. We have rung countless times. I've got hundreds of examples from colleagues of us ringing in the middle of an armed robbery and being told by the police to ring 101. So I understand what Chief Constable Blakeman said. Yeah. The reality for co-op colleagues is completely different.
So in practice, Paul, how do you do your job and how are you going to continue to open your stores and serve your customers? How is this going to continue under these appalling circumstances?
So I think there's two things, Vanessa. I think the first thing is, and I want to be absolutely clear, the first responsibility to keep colleagues and shops safe is the co-op group for co-op stores and any other big business, and this affects all businesses in the UK. That's why we've spent over £200 million in the last 5 years. We spend 4 times the sector average on body cams, on ICCTV, as Yasmin mentioned, on guarding, etc. So we've got to do our bit, absolutely. But what we need from the police, honestly, I'd love Chief Constable Blakeman to speak to Sussex Constabulary or Nottinghamshire Constabulary, because what they've shown is that when they work with us, and they've been brilliant, work together, share intelligence, share the planning, the whole thing, they've taken dozens of prolific offenders off the streets. Between them, they've secured almost 15 years of custodial sentences. They've got rehab orders for people who've got addiction issues. This is a solvable problem, Vanessa. It's just that too many police forces don't prioritise it to solve it. But if they did, we wouldn't have a 71% non-attendance rate.
Thank you very much indeed. I'm very sorry for what you're going through. I mean, it's absolutely terrifying.